don't work on screen that do work on paper. And that's why a lot of things are, people need to understand sometimes things are omitted. What about this or what about that? Because sometimes when you film it, it doesn't work. For flow, or it just doesn't work visually. It just only can work in a comic book. But no, I mean, it wasn't fully my cup of tea, but it was definitely an enjoyable movie for me and everything like that, so I will agree.
Well, I haven't read the graphic novel yet. I do want to, but I really love the movie. Because just...
Stylistically, it was awesome and everything.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
From what I'm gathering via feedback right now is that people like the movie and that the movie was okay, but they don't love it. They're like, obviously, I'm going ape shit about it on my own, but general consensus is just saying that they're not really liking it. And see, one of the things is from Jose Nieves saying the Black Pirate story, which is basically a subplot to the bigger plot, wasn't incorporated in the film, and
but
it wasn't.
They did it as an animated short.
Yes, they did it as an animated short, and if you have the entire Watchmen extended cut, it is within that whole thing. You get to see it in its entirety, like it's
Miss
the
Foxy
graphic.
has the whole big
yes,
collection.
like it's the graphic novel. Yes, it makes the entire thing approximately 4 hours to 5 hours long, but in order to give you the movie. Put it this way. If the Black Pirate story was incorporated into the Watchmen movie, and in doing so, you had to cut out a shit ton of things just to make time, everybody would be pissed off that there were so many key moments and key elements or speeches or characters that got chopped onto the cutting room floor, and then the movie would have been shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you take the good and you take the bad with it. And if you really want that full-on graphic novel experience, and you get the extended cut, you drop a couple monsters, and you sit for the 4-hour film.
Exactly. Actually, Jose Nieves got a comment for Spike. He goes, "Oh, Spike, pick a copy, and read it. Don't lose your nerd cred."
I'll let you read it. I have it.
She has it.
I know you have, but just to find time to do it. There's a lot of books I haven't read yet.
Yeah, seriously. All right.
All right, there's the first one. All right, let us, I'll pick the next one, and I'll let you go with it, okay? Wanted.
You did that on purpose.
I did.
You did that on purpose.
I did.
Okay. Wanted, graphic novel-wise, better than the movie. If you have been privy to both, you know they are nearly completely different. The Wanted book, we're trying to do this without spoilers if anybody hasn't read any of these or anything like that. Wanted is definitely on that top 10 one-shot list of graphic novels, standalone stories of a must-read. It's vulgar, it's graphic, but it again, like Watchmen, necessary for the story,
yes.
necessary for the tone. The art is really cool, and everything like that. Oddly enough, the two main characters, the main lead character, as I told you in the artwork, and when you saw me, holy shit, looks like Eminem,
yes.
and the female character of Fox looks like Halle Berry, which is kind of weird. Now, the premise of Wanted, the graphic novel, part of that premise, I'm not even going to say premise, part of the story was what was used to create the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You have that lead character who's the loser and, gets shit on at work. His girlfriend is cheating on him with his best friend and everything like that. Apparently, he has no knowledge of that his father was, in fact, an assassin of sorts and everything like that. Like a very high assassin, and then Fox seeks him out to be a part of it. Now, as far as the movie, that's all there is to it. In the comic book, that's just a sub thing.
Mm-hmm.
What it is the world of comic books is actually real life, and we as regular people have been brainwashed. What we're doing is we're not actually reading comic books, we're actually reading the historic tales, but we think they're comic books. What had happened was, the reason why we don't know this is because all the villains had figured out. This is, when we work singly, we keep getting beat. So they finally joined forces. All the villains globally joined forces, and they realize they are much stronger and powerful than the superheroes. And they actually completely eliminate them, whether it be by death or other means. There's a lot of references in it because it's a Marvel book, but there are a lot of references. Dropping a couple of things out there because when you read it, it's much better. Like there's one when the lead character is being taken through the whole society of villains and told this truth that I have instilled upon all of you. The mad doctor professor reveals, he goes, yeah, there was a guy that the world's greatest detective thinks he's a 1970s cult icon, cult TV icon, i.e. Adam West as Batman. Henceforth, in the book, Adam West is Batman. He just doesn't know it because they brainwashed him. The other one was, the other one that was supposedly made of steel of indestructible. Yeah, he's paralyzed now. Of course, making reference to Christopher Reeves actually being Superman.
Oh, yeah.
And everything like that. And it bleeds into a much, much clever story. Now, the movie only took the aspect of the lead character still being the loser and everything like that, and the chump being found by Fox, played by Angelina Jolie, and showing him his assassin roots, and then they just go from there. So they don't even go the story; they just take that little tidbit and turn that into story. There's no reference to anything else that was remotely interesting in that book, and it pissed me off so. It was so good to the point. I rarely do this to Miss Foxy, but it was so good that I was like, "Hon, you have to read this book.
Yeah.
You have to read this book." And I peer pressured her, and she went, "Fine, I'll read it. It's this little thing, and I'll blast through it." And she read it, and
my mind was blown. My mind was absolutely blown. I think I had to put it down a couple times when they would make those references.
Just to kind of
like, what the fuck?
Because there was a lot of times where you were sitting next to me reading, and I'm smiling, and she would put it down, and she went, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And she had to kind of absorb what she just read.
Oh yeah.
And I've never seen you do that with a comic book.
No.
And anything like that. I mean, if you haven't read Wanted, read the book. Don't let the movie disenfranchise you. The movie was terrible or anything like that. Don't let it franchise you. Read the book of Wanted if you have not read this book. It is absolutely amazing. The art styling is really, really good.
Yes.
Again, it was rather frightening, how the two lead characters looked and everything like that. But it was absolutely amazing. It's very graphic, sex, violence, everything. But the dialogue, the story, everything is just once you start reading, you are so hooked in for the entire ride. I think I read it in because I don't read as fast as you. It takes me longer to read things, and everything like that. But I read it fairly quick. I think I did read it in one night. Yeah, I couldn't put it down. I started reading it and I couldn't put it down. I read it in one night.
This is also before Mass Effect came into your life.
Yes, before Mass Effect came into my life. But no, I sat down and I read the whole thing in one night, and I highly recommend it.
Reading is sexy.
Book better than the movie. I don't know if you've had any references to either one of them.
I've never seen a movie, never read a comic.
Must read the book.
Okay.
The video game wasn't too terrible though.
Until you get fucking stuck.
Until that happens, yes.
Yeah.
All right, babe, you get to pick next.
All right. Now, did you cross that one to here?
Yes, I did.
All right, let's see. Where are we going to go here? All right.
Something for Spike to lead off on.
Something for Spike to lead off on?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. See, I got to get something where I think he could have read, but I know he watched. Or at least knows something of. Kick-Ass!
Okay.
Da-da!
There we go, Kick-Ass. Let's go with Kick-Ass.
Alright, I would say maybe the comics are a little better. Again, going from back where you're saying Watchmen, it definitely does take some bits and pieces and puts it, from the comics into the movie. Little changes here and there. he doesn't really get the girl at the end in the
Yes,
comics.
that I know.
The girl is pretty much like a slut in the comics. She is. She sends him a picture of her sucking a black guy's dick. I'm like, oh my god.
That is pretty rough, yeah.
That's after he told her that, hey, I'm kick-ass, I like you. And she's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, so, doesn't quite pan out that way.
Seems a little bit more realistic, too, though.
Yeah, it really does. But I understand they wanted him to have, like, get the girl at the end, be the hero that he's meant to be in the movie. But, yeah.
Is the book better?
Definitely book better, yeah.
Wow. And the movie was pretty good, though.
It was good,
It
don't get me
was,
wrong,
yes.
but, I think the book is more realistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I can definitely understand it because I've read it and watched it, and I mean, he is right in the sense that, like, yes, the movie was amazing. It was gory, and Red Mist was so cool, and yes. But the book did have a lot more of the realism to it in that, look, you were a loser, and even though you have these powers, you're still a loser.
Yeah.
And, oh, cool, you're a kick-ass. I still don't fucking like you. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. Like, he didn't have to get the girl in the movie.
See, and that's the beauty and the difference between books and movies. See, movies, like almost, it has that feeling almost like a wrestling show, as you say, send them home happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Movies do the same thing depending on the type of movie as it is.
Mm-hmm.
But given the superhero genre, you want to send them home happy.
Yeah.
Unless we're talking about certain characters, like Marvel can do that, but that's the thing, they've earned that, and they're like that, and then they have a certain style of storytelling. But generally, when you're dealing with superhero movies and whatever like that, the idea is to send them home happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, if you give them what's really in the book, people are going to piss and moan, what the hell, I paid money for this, and da-da-da-da, and they're not going to get their sweet little happy ending, because it's kind of like that dodgeball ending, where he's sitting there, God forbid you put a little complexity in a movie, God forbid you gotta think, and everything like that, send them all, that stuff, that whole bit. And it is true, though, like, as much as Ben Stiller was making a joke, it was a joke based on reality.
Yeah.
Because people want to be sent home with a nice little bow on top of their movie, and everything was happy-go-lucky. Which is why that's the pleasures of reading comic books like Wanted, like Watchmen, like Kick-Ass, because they don't end with happy endings. Even so much to the point where that's why DC and Marvel does the stories that they do not. The good guys don't always win.
Mm-hmm.
If you look back on the history of the X-Men team has lost more than they have ever won, and everything like that. Mention blowing up Bill's character. But no, I mean, I agree with you. The book definitely much better because it's just books. You could take more risks.
Yeah.
You could take more risks with less offending of people.
Yeah.
And people are going to be offended regardless. But the point is, when you're putting it out in the big screen and people sit there and visualize it, and people can leak clips, people will complain. So definitely, Kick-Ass book was better. I agree.
While there's that element of realism that wants me to say the book was better, I almost want to say they're pretty much equal to me. Because I enjoyed both of them thoroughly enough for me to enjoy both endings. Where it's like, alright, that ending, I get it. It sucks, but I get it. Whereas in this one, it's like, okay, I see why it happens too. So I can almost say, I would say they're fairly equal.
Okay.
Now, what about Kick-Ass 2, though?
Kick-Ass 2 would just seem like the search for more money.
At least the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say maybe that one, maybe the movie was a little better. I remember I read the book first on that one, and there were some bits where like they didn't put that in the movie, but it was like, it's okay, it wasn't really need for it, but I guess in a way the movie was better. And the thing, mostly because motherfucker had a better outfit too.
Like, getting away
Never
with
said he
having...
enjoyed both.
See, it works out. I mean, getting away with naming your villain the motherfucker.
Like, dude, like, really?
Like, that's just...
That alone right there is just like, wow.
That just signifies awesome. I'm sorry. And if we had the time, I could have made that outfit for you. I was already planning it and how to sew it together in my head.
Yep.
What you guys do not know, okay?
Great story. Great Comic-Con story.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, how do I start this? Back from the beginning?
Well,
Like,
as you guys can view, as you guys can view, and people that are just listening via Spreaker, Spike looks like Chris Fogel from
Super
Super
bad.
bad.
Superbad, aka McLovin. He